Good morning, geometry. Today we are going to be talking about the TEK A.5A Solve linear equations in one variable, including those for which the application of the distributive property is necessary and for which variables are included on both sides. Now, what exactly does that even mean? Let's break it down. First, you've got solving linear equations in one variable. Okay, so when we're trying to do that, linear equations with one variable, a real life example of this would be your dad told you to go to Kroger and pick up as many 12 packs of Coca-Cola that you can get with $20. Now, if you see here on the right, at Kroger, a 12 pack of Coca-Cola will cost you $5.49. So, how we would set up that equation? In this example, our equation would look like this. $5.49 times x is going to be equal to $20 because we're trying to figure out how many we can get for that $20. Now, of course, we are rounding to the nearest integer, meaning we're going to buy a whole 12 pack. We can't buy 3.2 or 3.64 12 packs. We have to buy just 3 12 packs. So the answer to this particular problem is 3. So now that we've seen what a linear equation with one variable will look like in real life, let's talk about what it will look like on the test. So we might have a problem. 10 minus 4x is equal to 42. Now, of course, we have to get all of our non-variables on the same side. So we are going to subtract that 10 from both sides. 10 minus 10 gives us 0 minus this 4x, so that 4x just comes down. And then 42 minus 10 gives us 32. Our next step is we're trying to get a single variable. So it is currently -4 times x, and we want to get the x by itself. So the opposite of multiplying by -4 is actually going to be to divide by -4. And what we do to one side, of course, again, we have to do to the other. So -4 divided by -4, or rather -4x divided by -4, is going to give us 1x, or just x. And then 32 divided by -4 is going to give us -8. So I'm going to put up another problem for you guys, and I want you to pause and see if you can do this problem on your own. So pause the video and take a minute to try and see if you can solve for this answer. Now that you've had time to work it, let's work it as a class so that way you can see if you did it right. We have 7b plus 12 is equal to 8. Again, we have to get the variable by itself. So we are going to be subtracting this 12 because the opposite of adding 12 is again going to be to subtract 12. What we do to one side, again, we have to do to the other. So when we subtract 12 from this side, we have to subtract it from the other side. We pull down our 7b, so it's going to be 7b plus 0, because 12 minus 12 is 0. And then 8 minus 12 is going to give us -4. Next up, we have to reduce our variable to a single variable. So it's currently 7 times b. So the opposite of multiplying by 7 is going to be dividing by 7. So we divide both sides by 7, giving us b, or 1b, is equal to -4/7. So now that we have solved linear equations in one variable, we're going to include those for which the application of the distributive property is necessary. What is this going to look like in real life? Well, let's take a look. A real life example. Your mom has gotten really into meal prepping for her new keto diet. She wants to, as a family, start taking rotisserie chicken for lunch every day with some keto-friendly vegetables. She asked you to go to Kroger and buy a week's worth of rotisserie chicken and canned vegetables. Now we want to know, how much is this going to cost? We've got $6.99 for a rotisserie chicken to be split between all of the family, and about 65 cents for a thing of canned vegetables that, again, is going to be split between the family for one day. So, in this example, our equation will look like this. We've got 7, we're multiplying times 7 because it's 7 days a week, and we're going to multiply $6.99 plus that 65 cents. So each day it's going to be $6.99 plus 65 cents, and of course we've got 7 days in the week. So when we plug these into the calculator, we find out that X is going to be equal to 53.48 cents. Now, traditionally, we put the X on the left-hand side, so we're simply going to flip the X and the $53.48 and say X is equal to $53.48. So what this will look like on your Get More math assignments and on your test will be something like this. 3 times 5x minus 4 equals 48. Now, of course, we are distributing, so the 3 is going to be multiplied not only times the 5x, but also times the negative 4. So 3 times 5x gives us 15x. 3 times negative 4 gives us negative 12. Our next step is going to be to get the variable all by itself. Currently, we have 15x minus 12. So the opposite of subtracting 12 is going to be to add 12. And what we do to one side, of course, we do to the other. So on our next line, we'll have 15x plus 0 is going to be equal to 60. And finally, we're looking for a single variable. So since we have 15 times x, the opposite of multiplying by 15 is going to be dividing by 15. So we divide both sides by 15, and it leaves us with 1x, or just x, is equal to 4. Here's another example. Pause the video and attempt to do this one on your own. Now that you've had a chance to do this one, let's see if you got the answer correctly. First, we're going to distribute 8 times 4x and 8 times positive 7. 8 times 4x gives us 32x. 8 times 7 gives us 56. And of course, we just bring down our negative 5. Next up, we have to get the variable by itself. It's 32x plus 56. So the opposite is going to be to subtract 56 from both sides. After we subtract, it'll be 32x plus 0, because the 56's have canceled out, is equal to negative 61. Again, we're looking for a single variable, so 1x. So since it is 32 times x, we are going to divide by 32. What we do to one side, of course, we do to the other, which leaves us with an answer choice of 1x, or x, is equal to negative 61 over 32. The last part we have to worry about in our TEK is when we have the variables on both sides, the variables and the distributive property on both sides. So let's take a look at what that's going to look like. What this is going to look like on your Get More math assignment and on your test. Take a moment to try and do this problem by yourself. Awesome, let's see how you did. The first step is to distribute. 5 times 3x gives us 15x, and 5 times negative 7 gives us negative 35. Negative 2 times negative 6 gives us a positive 12, and negative 2 times negative 9x gives us a positive 18x. Now, in this particular scenario, we have variables on both sides of the equal sign. So our next step is going to be to subtract the smaller variable from both sides. So we subtract our 15x because it is smaller than our 18x. This leaves us with 0 minus 35 equals 12 plus 3x. Now we got to get our variables by themselves. It's currently 3x plus 12, so the opposite of adding 12 is subtracting 12. So we're going to do that to both sides. This leaves us with negative 47 is equal to 0 plus 3x. Now, I'm running out of space here, so I'm going to move it to the other side. We have negative 47 is equal to 3x, and it's 3 times x. So we're trying to get a single variable. So the opposite of multiplying times 3 is to divide by 3, leaving us with negative 47 over 3 is equal to 1x. Again, traditionally, we put the x on the left-hand side of the equal sign. So our final answer is going to be x is equal to negative 47 thirds. And that concludes my video on TEK A.5A. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email me.